At the beginning of the movie, along with the credits, we see people preparing to celebrate New Year's Eve. A girl named Ashley goes to the learner's house while talking to her mother on the phone. Because of her inattention, the heroine almost drives into a cat, but fortunately, everything is bypassed. Meanwhile, the learner's son Luke discusses with his friend Garrett a plan to win Ashley's heart. The boy's conversation is interrupted by Luke's mom walking in and reminding him that it's past his bedtime. Deandra talks to her husband and meets Ashley. The woman tells the nanny that her son has started sleepwalking again, so she needs to put a pencil on the door of his room. Luke sees his parents and Garrett off, finally being alone with the girl. However, the heroine does not behave very attentively, and says that she needs to make a phone call. Luke overhears the girl's conversation, and realizes that she is communicating with her boyfriend named Ricky. Suddenly, Ashley sees a spider, and is creeped out, but the boy calmly removes it, and says that it did nothing. After talking to her boyfriend, the heroine loads up the laundry and then looks for Luke around the house. The boy, meanwhile, is drinking champagne, trying to look grown up in Ashley's eyes. However, this causes the exact opposite reaction. Ashley decides to tell Ricky that she can't meet him tonight, and this provokes an argument. The girl takes a sip of champagne that she notices Luke trying to touch her hand. However, Ashley moves away from the boy and offers to eat. Suddenly, someone calls on the phone, but when the girl picks up, she hears silence. Luke, meanwhile, turns on a horror movie and asks Ashley why she's dating Ricky. The girl is touched by this concern and jokingly says that she could be dating Luke. Ashley remembers that she forgot to order a pizza, but suddenly the delivery guy brings it. Luke lights candles, and the girl notices that today he is acting strangely. While watching a movie, the boy puts his head on the girl's shoulder, but suddenly Ricky calls and interrupts the romantic moment. Returning, the girl is frightened by what is happening in the movie, and grabs Luke's hand. He decides that this is the best moment to kiss Ashley. However, the girl pushes the boy away, and says it's all wrong. The phone rings again, and picking it up, Ashley decides that most likely it is her ex-boyfriend Jeremy. Suddenly, the heroine notices that one of the doors was open and asks the boy to throw her the phone. However, Luke hits it right into the fish tank. There is a strange knock on the door, but no one is outside. Luke decides to open it and show that he is not afraid of anything, but Garrett suddenly pounces on him. It turns out that he decided to check on his friend and scare him a little. Suddenly Ashley hears a strange noise upstairs and, armed, climbs the stairs. The boys decide to follow the heroine, afraid to be alone. It turns out that someone broke a window with a brick, and Ashley decides to call the police. However, it turns out that for some unknown reason all the phones are out of service. Luke remembers that there is a laptop in his room, but even here unknown people have tried their best by unplugging it. A frightened Ashley decides to take the boys away in her car, but it turns out that it has flat tires. Garrett comes downstairs and shows the inscription on the other side of the brick: if anyone tries to get out, they will be cruelly punished for it. The frightened boy decides to run out of the house, but Ashley sees him fall and hears the sound of gunfire. The girl falls on Luke and asks him to bring the gun from his parents' bedroom. Suddenly, the boy notices a shadow outside the window and they quickly run upstairs. However, danger awaits them there as well. It turns out that another intruder is lurking on the second floor and searching the rooms. Ashley decides to hide with a frightened Luke in the attic. A spider falls on the girl's face, from which she almost falls down the stairs. However, Luke manages to catch and calm her down. Having gathered courage, the boy decides to sneak into his parents' room to get a weapon. Luke succeeds, and they hide in a room where the robber miraculously fails to notice them. Ashley offers to take refuge in the closet, although the boy wants to scare the criminals with a gun. Arguing, the heroes accidentally hit a toy, which makes a great noise. The robber enters the room again, and Ashley notices on him a strange ski mask, which she has already seen on Luke. The girl guesses that this is all an elaborate play. Ashley scolds Luke and calls him a child for his ridiculous way of winning her favor. The girl decides to go downstairs and call the learners. Luke catches up with her at the stairs and suddenly hits her in the face, causing her to fall unconscious. When she wakes up, she realizes that she is tied to a chair. Garrett, meanwhile, thanks his friend for giving him the pills. Luke sits down in front of his victim with a gun and warns her that if he removes the duct tape and she screams, she will be very, very sick. The boy suggests a game of truth or action. If Ashley wins, she will be untied, and if not, she will drink the liquid from the vial. Luke's first question to the girl concerns her love life, but she says that Jeremy started the rumors about her viciousness. Garrett riddles his buddy to touch Ashley, from which he becomes completely enraptured. The girl decides to get revenge on Luke, and tells Garrett about what the boy did to her friend's hamster. Garrett gets upset at his friend's lies and is angry that he came up with some creepy idea, even though they originally wanted to scare Ashley. While the friends fight, the girl tries to make an SOS signal using a flashlight. Luke tells the heroine that he'll make it look like Ashley put the boy to bed and then decided to grab a drink from the bar. And the liquid in the bottle will help her completely forget about Christmas night. Luke slips it into the drink, but the heroine manages to push his hand away, thus breaking the bottle. Suddenly there is a knock on the door and Garrett puts his hand over Ashley's mouth. To drown her out, Luke turns on Christmas music and sees Ricky in the doorway. The boy says he's here to see his girlfriend, but the boy asks him to leave. Ricky manages to sneak inside the house, and Ashley decides to fall off a chair to get the boy's attention. However, Garrett makes it look like a huge rat ran through the dining room. Luke lies that Ashley is having menstrual pains and is in the upstairs bathroom. After scolding Garrett, the boy goes upstairs, but meanwhile the girl manages to pick up one of the shards from the bottle and hide it in her hand. Ricky looks for his girlfriend, but Luke stuns him by hitting him in the back of the head with a bat. However, it turns out that the guy is still conscious, and the boy tries to escape him by sticking a pencil in his cheek. Luke's position is saved by Garrett, who comes upstairs with a gun. Taking advantage of this, the boy stuns Ricky again with a blow to the head. After removing all traces of the boy's presence and struggle upstairs, Luke ties him up and sits him down next to Ashley. Garrett discovers that it was his friend who invited the boy into the house, but kept everything from him. Luke continues his cruel game and invites Jeremy into the house. While the boy calls the girl's ex, she tries to use the shard she found and get out. This is noticed by Ricky, and hopes that she will succeed. However, the heroine accidentally hurts her hand with the shard, and realizes that if the boys notice it, all is lost. Ashley tries to erase the marks on the floor with a sock, but Luke is about to notice. Ricky decides to help, and distracts the boy in a very unorthodox way. When Luke leaves to take out the trash, Ashley frees herself and Ricky asks her to run away. However, the boy returns, and the girl continues to sit on the chair after cleaning up her tracks to the end. Luke decides to continue bullying Ricky, and suddenly smells a strange odor. It turns out that in order to calm down, Garrett decided to use illegal substances. Luke suggests that Ricky relax and have some fun too, as smoke comes out of the wound on his cheek. Luke then drags the kid off to his new testing spot, but Ashley meanwhile continues to cut the duct tape. It turns out that the boy has decided to drop a can of paint on the guy, just like in the movie Home Alone, and Garrett really doesn't like the idea. At the last moment, Ashley manages to grab a gun off the table. The girl threatens Luke with it, and orders him to put the jar down. However, the boy still carries out his plan, and everything around is splattered with yellow paint mixed with something red. Ashley threatens the gun again, but realizes it wasn't loaded. The girl runs outside and Garrett rushes after her. She manages to get away from the boy and tries to run to the people. However, a brick lands on Ashley's head. Luke hands out treats to the guests while Ashley wakes up in the house again, bound with duct tape and garland. The girl pretends to respond to the boy's caresses and then hits him to take out her resentment for the tragedy that happened to her and Ricky. Luke posts a recording on Ashley's behalf where she is angry that her exes just can't leave her alone. Meanwhile, Jeremy drives up to the house and trips over a brick throwing machine. Ashley tries to give the guy a sign, but Garrett shuts her up again and tells her to be quiet. Luke suggests that Jeremy sit on the swing, promising that the heroine will come out to him soon. The boy asks Ashley's ex to text Ashley that he apologizes to the girl, and he himself knows why. Meanwhile, Garrett still agrees to help the girl, feeling fear and not wanting to participate in Luke's horrible games anymore. Ashley suggests running outside and calling for help, and says she doesn't blame Garrett for anything. Meanwhile, Jeremy finishes his note, after which Luke throws a rope around his neck and uses a snowplow to stage a horrible tragedy. Ashley's declarations of love and written regrets become the typical note of those who choose to part with their lives. Meanwhile, Garrett continues to free the girl, apologizes to her and promises that he can make things right. However, it is at this moment that Luke appears in the room and destroys his friend with a gun. Looking at Garrett, who has left him, the boy begins to cry, but quickly comes to his senses. Luke tells Ashley that his mom used to always rock him to sleep, but then stopped doing it. The girl says she knows why it happened, but she doesn't say another word. This finally pisses Luke off, and he destroys Ashley with a small knife. After that, the boy decides to make it look like Jeremy got drunk and broke into their house, killed everyone, and then decided to take his own life. Luke then remembers that he should put a pencil on the doorknob. It is impossible to do it from the inside, so the boy decides to get into the room through the window. His parents, meanwhile, are already arriving at the house. Luke manages to make it look as if he never once left the room during the night and did not see everything that was going on downstairs. Afterward, the mother rocks her son, but the policeman reports that there is one survivor. Looking out the window, Luke sees Ashley taping the wound with duct tape. Afterwards, the boy talks to his mom and offers to visit the girl in the hospital. This is the end of the movie. Thank you all for watching this video to the end. Give this video a like. Write in the comments what you think about this movie, and see you in new videos.